And I love the way you won't forsake broken people like me.
I've been written off before, down to the slamming door in my face. I tried to hide my scars, but you specialize in wounded things.
You waited up for me because you never sleep, you never slumber. I'm healing as we speak, 'cause you specialize in shattered dreams. And I love the way
You embrace broken people like me. I love the way never turn away broken people like
rejection haunted me. I suffered silently till you came. You called my past redeemed, 'cause you specialize in rescuing.
I love the way you embrace broken people like me. I love the way you never turn away broken people like me. I love the way you embrace broken people like me. I love the way you never turn away broken people like broken people like me. Come on, New Breed.
You love broken people. Raise out of the ashes. Raise out of the ashes. I'm singing and dancing. You put me back together. Oh, put me back together. Always been welcome. Always been welcome. You love broken people. And I'm praying, singing and dancing. Put me back together.
You are
thirsty for you, and you are ours. One desire, only you can satisfy. Only you can satisfy. Let's sing that together. You are, say, you are one desire. Thirsty for you. Yeah, thirsty for you. Say you are. You're my one desire. And only you can satisfy. Only you can satisfy. So dwell here. Dwell here. And move whatever's in your way. Whatever took your place. Will you dwell here? Father, dwell here. Woo. And move whatever's in your way. Whatever took your place. Say you are, say you are. One desire. We're thirsty for you. Come on, if that's your prayer, just tell him we're thirsty. Say, yes, Lord. Say you are my one desire, and only you can satisfy.
See peace come, not like pray when you feel peaceful. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so
I'm still alive cause you saved me. Once again, G.O.D. Time after time, you the only.
Gladly and officially, and with all the elation in my heart to just welcome none other than the one and only, in my humble opinion, funniest dude on the airways, GRIFF. Man, thank you. Can we just give him?
I appreciate y'all.
Now,
Hold on, can I shout out Cheryl Jackson from Praise 104.1 over there? That's my real friend. She the executive producer at Get Up Mornings, but she also always been Cheryl in D.C. So
look, y'all real friends, because when I took her back to the door, she started to do one of these 1-2 steps at the door. I said, "Oh, that's not fake right there. That's that's love. That's real love.
Yeah.
That's real love, man." So listen, we got 104.1 Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell co-host. We got comedy that you got your own comedy spot that you shoot in and doing on your own.
Right.
We got you traveling around the world hosting events. And then on top of that, you've been talking about this brand new house that you got. Man, when do you sleep, brother? Like, you got a lot going on, man.
I'm really, I don't, Erica taught me a long time ago to not say I'm an insomniac, but I got sleep challenges.
Okay.
But I take naps every day from like 12 to 3, 1 to 4, like the last 20-something years. Like I'm a napper, like a proper, so I can get like 3. If I pick up 3 in the afternoon and maybe 4 or 5 at night, I'm good for but I slept. Roz, what I sleep the other day, 9 hours and 47 minutes. Like I'm good till April 11th right now. I'm super
awesome.
good right now.
That's
no sleep.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, listen, man, I want to officially welcome you to what we call Heart-to-Heart. Every single month we do a podcast for our church on 4th Sunday. So we don't meet on 4th Sundays. We're virtual 4th Sundays. And we usually have a conversation that we record in a podcast style.
Oh, nice. So I'm Sunday.
Yeah, you Sunday.
Let's go.
You Sunday.
I got to tell my pastor to quit a week.
You're right. That's what it really is.
You deserve it, dog.
Yeah, that's what we,
I tell all pastors, them is God's sheep, not y'all's. Look, don't let them stress you out.
We do a Sabbath of the Sabbath. That's what we.
That's what we're doing. I love it. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. And so with Heart-to-Heart, one thing that we aim to do is to be able to have conversation that we wouldn't normally have in the pulpit. And somebody just like you, who totes that line of funny, but still Christian, but still one, understand and have an upbringing that's outside of this church thing, I think that today's conversation is going to be one that everybody really, really wants to hear. So if you will indulge me, do you mind if I ask you, just give us a little bit of background about just how you got here, your upbringing? Was you a church boy? Was you not a church boy? Was you a knucklehead?
I did not know Jesus like that, dog.
Okay.
And it's weird being on with Erica Campbell and Cheryl, and they know Jesus. They was little Jesuites at church, singing in the choir since they was kids, and wanting to be an usher when they grow up. Like, I just be hearing them conversations. Like the other day, they played somebody on Fridays. We play an old school artist, and it was Beverly Crawford. And Erica was like, I remember the first time I heard her. And then Cheryl was like, I interviewed her. And they was like, what about you, Griff? Never heard of her.
Never heard of her.
They was like, did you hear of, what was the show? Bobby Jones Gospel?
Oh,
never watched the episode.
Oh, are you serious? You never saw the suits? Never saw the glasses?
No, I saw him at places all shiny and glimmery.
Right.
I just never saw the show where it's once a week, and I know all about it. But it don't even shame me because I was doing other stuff, man. April 14th, I celebrate 30 years of doing comedy.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
And I started in D.C. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Cali, but I'm an East Coast comedian. I started with Joe Claire and Red and Dominique and you know what I'm saying? Chris, man. And I love being from out here. And I lived in a bunch of places. I lived in Springfield. I lived in Alexandria. I lived off of 14th and W. I lived in, like, I'm a D.C. dude, kind of.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I remember where I was at when I first heard the dude say, uh-oh. And I thought it was a warning. Like, I was, the first time I heard go-go music, I had got behind something. Is everything okay? Why is
everything fine?
Why is that man saying get in the water? What's going on?
The water dance. Yeah.
But
it's not baptism.
No, it's not. Right. But my mom went, to tell you early, my dad been married 5 times and my mom been married 9 times.
Wow.
And, I'm a professional stepchild.
I was about to say, bro, you need to get a Hall of
So I
Fame.
had a lot of, my mom she tried Christian, she tried Islam, she tried Scientology, she tried everything, you know what I'm saying? But she was always singing at church, and we would go to different churches. Like, we didn't just go to one church. I went to 21 different schools growing up, you know, and church just wasn't. My mom wasn't listening to that lady and Bobby Jones. She was listening to Bobby Womack.
Yeah, exactly.
And Rick James.
Right,
I was just.
right.
But I would have like homegirls that would, they was the kids, they was like the Cheryl and them in school saying, we got a prayer group.
Yeah. And
you welcome to come pray with us. And I was like, y'all look cute. I could go to a couple of them, right? Because, man, I don't know. I can't talk for all men. Like, for me, like, I just wasn't doing nothing with a bunch of dudes, like, still to this day.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a bunch of dudes, I'll be like, I'm cool. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Right.
But my upbringing was really, I had an abusive father. I watched my mom get abused. I wanted to be a comedian since I was 3 years old. My mother worked at convalescent homes, and she would put the seniors in half a circle, and she would tell me to go out there and play, and just do whatever while she was cleaning and they sheets and doing that. But I did that for like 3-4 years.
Right.
So to me, I was on a geriatric tour
Right.
as a kid.
I was about to say.
As a kid, I had the old people cracking, right? I was sweet, and I heard God when I was about 10 or 9, and I heard him because nobody else was in the room, and I'm really listening, and he told me that all curses of my generation will end with me. Like, my kids will never know what I went through. They'll never feel how I feel. And I just trusted that thought or that word. And I just, for me, I got baptized April 13, 2003 by my pastor. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Look at the people who ain't get baptized. So
I know.
I think you should get baptized when you grown, because I just don't think you know Jesus when you 7.
Right,
like you don't know the blood when you 7. You just be happy you can wear shorts to church.
Yeah. You're right.
You get by the baptism, you like water time as a kid.
Right.
Like you don't know what's going on. But I really found Christ at a time. I was tired. Life was good. I was on a big radio station in Atlanta, and I was single, and it was just too much. I was overwhelmed, and it was just starting to get dark and dark and dark. And I was like, no, I know I could find me a church. So I've been with Pastor Kearney. It'll be 22 years this May.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so that time, if you don't mind walking with me during that time, you being in Atlanta, you go on radio, probably dreams fulfilled. You in the land of just, I'm not even
females.
I was about to say, I didn't want to say it,
but bunch of females. It was 27-1 in 1998. It's 46-1 now in 2025. If you a female and you single, don't go to Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm glad you said it and I didn't have to. But walking in that, and then you running to Pastor Kearney, but in that adult life, what got you from, I know I met God, I talked to God at 9, but now I'm ready to make the decision in 2003. What shifted, and how has that propelled you?
You know what was
forward?
The hardest thing for me was I remember God saying you got to change your comedy. You're not gonna be able to cuss no more. And
wow.
And I think I was 7 years in or something. And I've been on Comic View like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, okay, Lord, if you want me to change, I change. Whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it, right? And I told Pastor Kearney, I'm like, look, God is telling me to change my comedy, but it ain't no clean comedy clubs, and it ain't no where I'm gonna perform at, Pastor, since you all trying to baptize me.
Right. Right.
And then he said, I don't know about the clubs, but I got a couple thousand people you could perform in front of. Wow. And he just really changed my life. Like I've been making so much money as doing clean comedy, but then because I have a relationship with Christ, like it's just in overflow right now because I put in the work. Like I 30 years is a long time of doing anything, but to stand in front of people, I put in the work, and I gave away all the fruit that I had most of my life, and I'm finally eating my own fruit. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah,
I be with Cheryl in the morning. They be quickening all the time. I know what that means from them. They always quickening on me. Her and Erica. I know a quicken, Cheryl. I heard it. You was like, hallelujah.
Oh my gosh! Right, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. And so that. So this is what I wanted to, that radio asset, and I'm so glad that that you called out Cheryl and Erica, because now you are in front of not only thousands in front of people in front of you while you while you're doing comedy, but you also now are in front of millions of people every single morning on a nationally syndicated radio show. I know that platform comes with weight, but it also comes probably with a lot of freedom that you had in your 30 years. So what is your responsibility there? What is your aim there? What are you trying to accomplish every morning on the radio that we could take into our regular everyday lives that we're doing? Like, how do we bring ministry into an aspect like that?
That is such, Cheryl, he asking the best questions ever. I get real, not saying you a fake question asker,
fake.
but I get people interviewing me all the time and don't hit questions like
here.
that.
I'm like, hold on. Can you tell me what? I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sweating a little bit. No.
Hilarious. You try to ask me fast before the rest of them?
Okay. Chat GPT, what do I ask Griff when he gets up here?
You funny, Pastor. I like you. So I was on the R&B station in Atlanta, and then I was on a hip-hop station, and now to be syndicated across the country on an inspirational station I also put in my work in radio, you know what I'm saying? I didn't go to college, so I want to be a comedian, so I had no backup plan. I'm going to be a comedian or I'm going to die.
They don't got no bachelor program for comedy? And
no, they don't. No GED comedians. No. We don't have no fraternities.
Right, nah, y'all got nothing.
Heave,
Nah, ain't none of that. Nah.
I always wanted to go to college just so I could play something and be like, heave,
Nah, they not playing with you. Nah.
But I really take it for the last. We celebrate 9 years May 10th, and I take it as a mantle. Every morning before I go on air, before COVID, I listen to a sermon.
Right.
I wake up at 4:23 every day, Monday through Friday. I listen to a sermon that's normally about 45, 52 minutes. I leave the house at 5:10. It take me 33 minutes to get to work. Sometimes I'm done with my sermon with 21 minutes left, and I can listen to ESPN. But I never want to go on air lackadaisical or not caring about this. I just feel like God put me in this position because it's a bunch of real Christian comedians. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm not a Christian comedian. I'm a comedian that love Christ. Yeah. You call me a Christian comedian, you're going to mess up my Muslim money, my Jewish money, my secular money, my Jehovah's Witness money. Just right. Call me a comedian. You ain't got to say, don't put me in a box. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you do it? So I'm a pastor that loves Christ.
You're a pastor that loves Christ.
Not a Christian pastor. Okay,
no, if you be that, they be like, he can't come to the synagogue.
Right.
No, he can't come to the mosque. But
that's good.
I really understand that I'm on a show that's driven by women, and women run radio as far as people who pay, you know, and I'm the dude that they kind of listen to, like, oh, Griff said, or, you know, like a big uncle or a brother, a big brother, or their cousin that's funny or something, you know what I'm saying? So I take it very seriously. I play a lot, but I be so serious about the job. I don't never want to disappoint God. I don't never want to forget, the valley that he took me out of, because it's in the valley where you learn the grit, you know what I'm saying? You got to eat that manna and shut up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's so good. Yeah. Look,
they quickening on us. Let's take a quick and water break real quick.
My pastor told me if you spell Coke backwards, you could bring the Holy Spirit. If you use EKOC, just keep saying it. If you're trying to learn how to really get it together. It's just for the novices, you know what I mean, until it really comes.
I'm a whole novice. Yeah, I don't, that's just not I don't think God want me to talk in tongues, because ain't nobody going to believe me anyway, because I was playing too much when I first, getting in church. I'm a grown man trying to get in church and learn stuff, and the people speaking in tongues, and I'm like, I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I be jumping in, like
it don't flow. Yeah.
And if I really got the gift of speaking in tongues right now, nobody will believe me. They'd be like, Griff over there playing. But I thank God for my journey, because it's mine. I was just saying how me and Roz was in the air. Roz is my manager, my business partner, a great friend. And Roz, let me just tell y'all. So doing comedy 30 years, I never had a manager.
Okay.
I got myself on the radio and Comic View and
just hustling,
just talking, running, going. And in the last 2 years, I made more money than I made in the last 28, and have somebody to represent me and talk for me, and she just changed my life. I just bought a house. Like you saying funny that I just bought a house.
Come on. And with the interest rates, you bought a house. Amen.
I'm 53 years old. That's my first house. And I've really been sitting thinking, what have I been doing for the last 30 years that I ain't need a house? Yeah. And it was Ron sitting with me saying, hey, man, buy a house. And then I'm a veteran, so she pulled up the VA stuff and got me the house of my dream. It's crazy, because the first house that we wanted to get, I was real excited. I ain't know that it's all these other factors, right? So I was like, this is the house. Right. This is the house we're going to get. And then we found out that they had $110,000 worth of infrastructure that would have cost us later, right? So we didn't get that house. And the second house, I was like, okay, this is the one. God telling me this the one. And then somebody put 40,000 more on it. We was like, it ain't that one. Oh. Maybe I don't know who was talking to me. That
ain't it.
definitely ain't that one.
Right,
but
right,
it was
right.
this third one where it was better than the other two.
Yep.
But the seller works for the VA.
There you go.
His job in the VA is to get people 100%. That's it. And I got 30%. And he was like, I'm going to make sure you get 100. Don't worry about it. And that's the wait on God. That's the patience.
Come on, man. Yes.
He going to make the situation even better.
That's
like,
good.
I was just thinking I was getting a house, but I'm going to make sure, he going to make sure I got money for the house.
There
like,
you go.
man,
Yeah.
don't make me shout. I can't,
So
but don't
look,
make me
nah,
though.
you can. And that's the thing. So you just said something that's just piqued something inside of me because I think so often we identify God as a right now God. So if it ain't now, it ain't God. If it ain't in the timeline that I wanted, or if it does come quicker than I thought, that's gotta be God.
Right.
Versus it being something else. And you just mentioned that after 50, you bought your first house. You recently got married not too long ago.
I've been married 52 months now.
52 months.
Right.
Absolutely.
We toddlers. We
Yeah.
eating solid food now.
Right, there you go. 52 months on marriage, just bought the house. You just said you made more money now in comedy and doing all the stuff you're doing before that, and this is after 50. And so this is what I want you to kind of speak to a little bit. It's just that wait on Godness that I think sometimes people feel as though that's not the wait is not worth it, or they start to get weary in waiting. But what's the testimony around that you've seen God do in just a short amount of time, but it came at this stage in your life?
Well, thank you, Pastor. It hasn't been a short amount of time. It's been 30 years. And in that 30 years, I've really made roots. I've made roots that you can't see on the top,
so
right?
good. Yeah.
And what
That's
God
a word.
does, and here go my gift. So everybody think my gift is being funny, but that's not my gift.
Right.
My gift is timing. I've been blessed with timing.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? And the timing ain't just on stage for 45 minutes. I'm also on the plane next to the dude who missed his other flight, but he's sitting next to me on his way to CBS, and he was looking for a host to do. Like, that's my life for the last 30 years. It ain't a coincidence no more. Like,
That's so good.
I'm always in the right. Here. Today, we landed in Richmond, and we drove up here, right? But then, as soon as we landed, I was like, well, let's stop at a gas station so we can get some water and some other stuff. I like an apple snapple sometimes. So let's get a water and some apple snapples, right? So the gas station on the right, the gas station was on the left, and there was no turn into it, so we missed that one. And I said, okay, here go a gas station on the left right here. But Rod said, there go a 7-Eleven. So 7-Elevens and me are very weird because I live in Atlanta, and they don't have 7-Elevens.
No, they don't.
You understand? So I'm looking for a gas station that's technically a 7-Eleven, right? So I can get all the stuff. So Rod said, we're going to go to 7-Eleven. When we walk into the 7-Eleven, it's a man that walked in front of me. I said, Rod, that look like Cletus. It's a comedian that I know.
Yeah.
So I walk in, it's Cletus. It's one of my closest friends in comedy.
That's
He was
crazy.
like, what is you doing here? What am I doing here?
Right.
Like, and it's the timing.
There you go.
If we'd have
That's
went
the
to the
whole-
other gas stations, I wouldn't have
Right.
saw Cletus So I also learned that timing, God will teach you like a farmer, right? So a farmer all summer, he can't break his back on a couple acres, and then as soon as he done, come in the house and look out the window and wait for a blade of grass to grow.
Right.
He got to work on something else. So by the time he work on this over here, he turn around and go, oh man, I got an orchard. I'm gonna need people to.
good.
So it's God's timing that you got to know. Where I'm from, we got redwood trees. They not regular. It take 10, 15 dudes my size to hug one of these trees. But they all start off as a little nut, though.
That's so good.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the roots. It's the palm trees is Florida and California, right? And in the wind, they sway. But the reason they don't break is because the roots
That's so
underground.
good.
As much as you can see up top, it's even more underground. So I would just tell the person who is waiting and getting weary, and you can get weary.
Yeah.
But don't stay there. Like, you can be sad. Like, you can, nothing is working. But
so
you
good.
got to find your joy again. You got to turn on 104.1 or listen to your favorite
Yeah, come on,
podcaster
plug it.
and listen to your pastor and start like reminding
good.
yourself that, no, God is good, because the enemy. So I told Roz I wasn't going to tell nobody this, but I'm going to tell y'all because I feel led.
Okay.
Since May, I have been getting horrible hives. I'm not allergic to nothing, and except bees. I'm allergic to insects, right? But I stay away from them. But I've been getting hives, like random giant patches of hives, and I've been going to the hospital since May, and they keep saying, we don't know what it is, we don't know what it is. I'm taking shots, I'm getting medicine, I was getting acupuncture, I was laying in a bariatric oxygen chamber, nothing is working. And 2 weeks ago, I was like, Lord, heal me, Lord. Heal me, Lord. You did not bring me this far to be all bumped up. Heal me. And I ain't had a hive in 2 weeks.
That's
I'm
a
healed.
testimony. That's good.
And I always know. I was telling Cheryl, Cheryl, I'm under spiritual attack. I'm getting beat up, Cheryl, and I don't know what. I'm praying. I'm listening to gospel. I'm dying over here.
Yeah.
I'm over here, itchy and scratchy.
Yeah.
What's happening? And she said, she was fasting and praying for me, and Roz was fasting, my wife, and I really just had to say it out loud myself. God, heal me.
That's real.
Heal me, please,
Yeah.
God. You don't want me. I don't want to be Job.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Right.
Like Job had, I like at the end of Job, but I don't want to be bumpy Job and his wife be like, what did you do?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I had to say it out loud. And since I said it out loud, and my pastor always said, don't wait for me to use my pastor powers. Use your own pastor powers. Touch yourself and say, God, heal me.
Absolutely.
Bless me, Lord.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Take this out of me, Lord.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks, man, not nothing. And I'm trying not to get emotional, but it was a lot.
It is a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
And it's a lot of unknown. Is this going to be the thing to take me out? Is this going to be the turning point? Is this and I don't know. And that leaves you fully submitted. And this is what I want to pivot on that.
The enemy told me, I live in Georgia and there's a bunch of guns in my house. And the enemy said, you know how you could get rid of them bumps?
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, over bumps?
Yeah.
If you don't get out my house,
Yeah.
I went and opened the door like, what is wrong with you? Over
Yeah.
some bumps?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, God, this is no doctor, nothing. This is you. Lord, help me.
Yeah.
So I thank God to be around people like Cheryl and Roz and my wife. My wife prayed for me when I'm asleep. And sometimes I wake up and her hand be on me and she just be mumbling because she be asleep too. And she be like, I gotta step fast. So I try to make her.
Right.
I was trying to make him have a bump. No more bumps, Jesus. I was just trying to have a bump. I don't want him to have no bumps. He can't have no bumps, Jesus. So I'm just blessed to be around people who know the Lord better than me, who can teach me and not be judgmental. Because sometimes I'll call Cheryl and be like, Cheryl, man, I don't know if I'm praying right, but I need help. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that I got people around me who know, and stand in the gap for me.
And so you saying that, and we've got a few minutes, and I want to just give breath to this. So you mentioned a ton of women in Atlanta, but there's also a whole lot of women in church. And I feel like women have the ability for spiritual warfare, for intuition, for the Holy Spirit revealing things to them.
Amen.
And us men, we trying to catch up. We gotta catch up. And so, as a man who has children, who has a working career, who's traveling, if I was 20 years old right now, what would you say to me and how to juggle it all? Because the tears that you just fought back, I think that every guy in here, probably over the age of 35, who has a family, feels those tears.
It's tough, man.
And we don't ever want to share them. But how can we? Well, it don't even have to be anybody that's 20. Maybe even somebody just like even myself. What's the game? How do you manage it all and still be vulnerable and help us to grow in that?
You gotta believe. So, wanting to be a comedian since 3 sound crazy, right? It just really just sounds crazy. What kid wants to be a comedian. Like I didn't even meet one until I became one.
Right.
You know, and that must have been from God. It must have been. And I don't know the Bible as well as you, Pastor, but I know the parts I know. And Proverbs 17:22 say laughter is good for your soul. That's like a medicine. And there's nothing else in the Bible that it say is good for your soul.
Yeah.
Jesus is just implied. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like God handpicks comedians and says, you go give them joy on earth. And you give them a pinch of what I am. And you give them a, you know what I'm saying? So what I would say to the person, that must be our wrap it up timer. What I would say to the person is, know who you are, like, or people will tell you who you are. If you don't know who you are, somebody will tell you who you are. I already know who I had 1 million people say, you're not going to be a comedian when you grow up. And I would always say, no, you're not going to be a comedian when you grow up. Yeah. I know who I am. And it's about sticking to God's plan, because God will have a plan for you. And even if you don't know it, even if you're not sure of it, you got to trust. And then when you don't trust, find them Bible verses that talk about trust.
There you go.
Learn to trust. Learn to, you know, and then I don't like saying I'm insomniac, because God will give you, he'll let you slumber.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to remind myself I can get some sleep. I will go to sleep. You know, it's all about you. It's nobody in the world gonna knock on your door and say, excuse me, we lost $5. Is this your $5? Yeah. We found this $5. They're not gonna do it for $5. They're not gonna do it for $100. They're not gonna do it for $1,000. So you must do